Hello, I'm your host Fahad Faruqui and you're watching The Coffee Table. If you love traveling as much as I do, and I do love traveling a lot, this show is definitely up your alley. Pakistan is home to some of the most enchanting sights in the world. And today, we have with us two travel aficionados who will discuss their experiences of traveling across Pakistan and abroad. Areesha Khan has traveled 33 countries and seen, let's say, every inch of Pakistan. And we have JP, who is a travel celebrity, having trotted 184 countries with zero regrets. How do you do this in one lifetime?
Very, very patiently. 184 countries is a lot, but this has taken me a decade.
Of course.
So
there must have been a lot of patience, and it doesn't seem to be one of my virtues. I'm still learning to be patient.
Yes.
Where do you stand?
I'm also not a very patient person. To be fair, I'm not. But I have learned to be more patient as I've traveled.
So you've had all of those flight delays, hiccups, so on and so forth?
Lots of flight delays. It's become the norm.
How many flight delays?
Oh, hundreds.
Which one's the worst?
I've had to spend the night a few times at airports.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Areesha, 33 countries,
Yep.
young girl, Pakistani girl.
Yeah.
That's pretty good too.
Sure
Where did
is.
it start?
At the age of 7, actually. Because,
Really?
Yes, because...
But you're not responsible for the traveling at the age of 7.
No, not at all.
It's actually the parents.
It's actually the parents, but I'm actually grateful to them because, parents these days, they just leave their kids behind and travel the world. So I'm actually pretty grateful that, they took me along because that's how the passion for traveling came in me. And, so I've been traveling since then.
So like JP, do you want to travel the world too?
Of course, yes. I'm saving bit by bit.
You can do it.
How did you do it? I mean, she's saving bit by bit.
Yeah.
I saved up a lot of money. Like a lot.
There's no way of making money while you
Oh,
travel?
no, you can, of course. You can do that. I just didn't want to do that. For me, I wanted to just
How do you do that?
leave
Because
and then...
I'm actually planning to leave this job and go travel. I hope the CEO of the company is not watching this, but
Well, I mean, it just depends how much you've got saved up. I mean, how much you got?
None.
Oh, you're going to have a hard time.
I have literally spent all my savings on traveling. Literally.
You may not want to quit yet.
So I should keep working.
Just for a little bit longer. Save up
How
some
long
money.
have you been in Pakistan?
About a month.
How has it been?
Yeah, it's been 1 month, and it's... I started in Hunza, which, wow.
Really?
Incredible. Absolutely loved
Here's
it
the
up
big
there.
problem that I have, and on a confessional note, I tend to travel abroad, and I think that's something that I did wrong. I didn't travel inside Pakistan.
You didn't travel in your own country?
Yeah,
here?
I don't know. You neglect your own country, and I'm not the
I'm a
only
little bit
one.
like that too. I mean, I've traveled in the U.S., but I haven't traveled in the U.S. as much in comparison to I've traveled the world.
Why does that happen? I mean, you kind of
because it's
neglect-
just there. You can go anytime you want, and you know that it's
and
just
you never
there.
end up doing that.
Yeah,
So you
so-
started with Hunza.
Yeah, I came in from China.
How was that?
That was interesting. The Chinese border. At least getting out of China
Well-
was better than getting in. So yeah.
All the borders, I'm sure you have horror story of borders.
Yeah, just
so
a,
do
just
I.
A few, just a couple.
But we'll get to that.
Okay.
How was coming into Pakistan from China border, going into Hunza, which I've heard is a beauty. I mean, there's some
It's
people who call it
stunning.
Switzerland of Pakistan.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the scenery is like what you see there. It's like a postcard. It doesn't even look real when you're staring at these mountains. You're like, that can't be real. It's like a painting.
Wow.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
And it's second to none. I mean, there are people who say that this should be preserved, and I think
Absolutely.
we need to do a lot of that,
Absolutely.
work on that. What about you? Where have you traveled in Pakistan?
Yes,
Did
I
you
have.
start traveling in Pakistan, or you're like me, that traveling in Pakistan came later?
No, actually, I did start traveling in Pakistan, but later on. I mean, earlier I used to do trips to maximum Murray because I was based in Lahore. So that would be a little Pakistani trip for me. But then later on, I started traveling to Hunza. I did Gilgit. I did Bahawalpur, which is one of my favorites.
How was Hunza for you?
Hunza was absolutely exceptional. It was amazing. I mean,
Tough to navigate? Easy to navigate? How is it?
I had a pretty easy time there, getting from spot to spot, and it was really easy to hitchhike there. Super easy.
Really?
Yeah, really,
You
really,
mean
really
Pakistanis are actually hospitable? They actually stop
really
people?
hospitable, really.
You're just
Yeah.
saying this because you're on a show which is in Pakistan?
No, really. It's actually that easy. I wouldn't wait more than a couple of minutes and somebody would come by and take me to the next town. It was really easy.
So how did you personally plan Pakistan?
I didn't.
That's the best planning, but you know.
The best plan is no plan.
Is no plan.
Yeah.
It's like going with the flow.
Yeah.
But you do know that there are some dead ends there.
Sure.
We both have traveled a great deal, and I think we know the dead ends.
You've traveled as much as me. I know.
I'm not counting. That's the best part. You are. And the fun thing about JP is that he has done 184 countries, and he makes it a point to say 0 regrets.
That's right.
Why is that?
Absolutely. Because it's for me, it's the best decision that I've ever made in my life. It's the best education that I've ever gotten. And I look back, and it's been 10 years, it's been a decade, and I can't look back and regret anything. Like, this is my life.
That is absolutely
life.
fantastic. And I would second that it's the best education that I've had too.
Yeah.
It's been educational in
It teaches
every
you tolerance.
A lot of it.
Yes, a lot.
More than we both are ready to confess on camera. But when did you make this decision that you want to go travel the world?
Well, I basically got sick of the job that I was doing. I was a software engineer. And I had done that for quite some time. And it just, you look around the office one day and then you just realize, you see all these people sitting down at their cubicle and you're sitting there, you're like, is this what I want? Is this really me? Do I want to be here for the next 20 years of my life? And that's not what I wanted.
So basically,
I wanted something else.
You
I wanted
saved up and you.
Yeah, I
started
saved
traveling.
up a bunch of money and told my boss to piss off. I mean, that was basically it.
I don't know if people want to do that. But it's one way of doing it, that whether you want a conventional life all your life or you want to travel. What about you? I mean, I've been I look forward to the summers and the winters to travel. And I buy my gear accordingly so that I can travel through the winters as well. And obviously linens for summer. What about you?
Since I'm in the
You're not
teaching-
quitting any job.
I'm not. I can't. I
Okay.
can't take the risk. But since I'm in the teaching sector, so I get I'm traveling 6 months apart. So in winters so basically in the 6 months I'm saving money to travel.
I think that's the best thing one can do: save up, travel. And I think
Yeah.
that's the best decision I have made ever in my life. That I save up, work, then travel. And there is no better education than that.
Yeah, you can travel and you save up money, you quit your job, and for me, you can always
Not highly recommended. Don't quit your job. Keep the job, okay? You don't have to quit the job. This is where JP goes wrong, and I don't want this to go viral. So just a caveat.
There's nothing wrong with quitting your job.
There's nothing.
You can always get another job. You can't get back time. So that's the way I see it.
I would see. I need
true.
to agree with this guy.
That's true.
Because travel while you still can travel. It's what my family says all the time. That there will be a point that you cannot.
That's right.
So travel while you can.
Yeah, I
And
like having dessert first.
It requires a lot of endurance as well. I mean, you've been traveling for 10 years, and I think you've gone through a lot, and it requires a lot. Well, with patience and tolerance, if there is a third thing, there is endurance. You need to try. There are places where you're going to get stuck.
Yes, of course.
Any horror stories?
Of getting stuck. Well, I've been Africa. It's pretty easy to get stuck in Africa because transportation there is pretty terrible.
And food.
And food.
Where else?
Um,
What else comes in the boundaries of getting, like for me, getting stuck has a different meaning. But when you're traveling the world and you're at 184 countries,
Yeah.
getting stuck has a different definition.
Oh, yeah, that's true. For me, like getting stuck at borders. That happened to most of me, like in Africa. Traveling Africa, specifically West Africa, is really bad. So I remember going from, I think it was in Sierra Leone, going to Liberia, and it was disastrous. It took forever because the roads are really bad and the cars are crap. And these cars are meant for like 6 people maybe, and they pile 10 in there. And so it's not very comfortable. And you have to do this for 14, 15, 16 hours. And then you're not even at the border yet. You know, you have to do it again the next day. And then when you get to the border, it's too late because it's like 10 o'clock at night, the border's closed. So guess what? You got to wait till the next morning to cross. There's nowhere to sleep. There's no hotel there. There's
it's
nothing.
Fun. He's almost smiling, telling the horror story.
I know.
Any horror stories?
I think visa, probably getting a visa, because since I travel on a Pakistani passport, and the whole visa process is an absolute pain. So I was going to Georgia.
I think the American here has a similar horror
Probably.
stories with visas. So let's not go there. I think everybody has some visa. I mean, I would say we live in a global village, and if we can travel without visas, that would be
That's so true.
that would be
I would
really
love that.
good. That would be.
I wish we lived in a world with no
I know.
passports and visas, open
That's
borders.
a fantastic point. We'll take a short break there. Stay tuned. Welcome back. JP, tell me, how's it traveling in Pakistan as a foreigner?
It's been quite the interesting experience. You know, for me coming to
You're
Pakistan.
smirking there.
No, for me.
What does that mean?
For me coming to Pakistan, it was, first of all, it was very difficult to get here in the first place, just because the visa process is such a pain.
Yeah, well, we're
so-
trying to make it a global village.
I know,
we're
and I
trying
think
to
you're getting there.
We're,
And I think
we're
you're
trying to
getting
get
there.
borders open.
Things
So we're
have
working with that.
gotten better, but when I was applying for the visa process, like it was a pain.
Okay.
So it took a while, and it took a lot of money. It was like $500.
Really?
Yes, that's a lot for a visa. I did at least got a 2-year visa out of it, so you know that's
you
not.
can keep coming. And
yeah,
you
I got a multiple
and you
entry, I can come back.
And you do keep repeating the countries.
I do.
Because
I
you're not
repeat
in a
countries.
rush.
For me, it's yes, I do want to reach every country eventually, but it's not a race. I don't have to finish next week, you know. So I go back to countries that I really like.
How many countries have you been back to, and how many times?
Oh my goodness. I'd say I've been to at least 50 countries multiple times.
Have you ever done this, or you want to go to a new country each time?
I want to go to a new country each time because
Yeah.
I just hit 33 yet. So but I do go back to Spain all the time because I just love
Spain,
it.
Spain is a beauty.
It is.
Especially the south of Spain, Andalusia. It's heaven. You've got the architecture from the Islamic Moorish time, and you've just got the right kind of food and the weather.
Did you go to Alhambra?
It's beautiful.
And the music.
Yes.
I'm an absolute
Yeah.
fan. Spanish music, flamenco.
I like it. I can't dance or anything, but I do like it.
No, you could just watch, and that's a
Yeah,
pleasure.
it is nice to
and
watch.
paella.
Paella, say it right.
Right.
Paella, paella.
Can you see this? Biryani.
Biryani.
Favorite food.
Biryani.
Other than that,
Other than that, I don't remember all the names, but I know
what have
that
you tried so far? Have you tried street food in
I
Lahore?
always try street food. I
Th-
try
that's where-
everything to the
that's
point that
actually
I
where
have
to-
diarrhea, and so I do.
Are
love
you
it.
saying you've got diarrhea because of Pakistani street
I did
food?
have a bout of diarrhea here. It was not
Come
fun.
on, you're an American. You're gonna have diarrhea anywhere.
It seems like it only happened here, and in India. It happened here in India.
Cut that off. What kind of food do you like?
I like all kinds. I like pizzas, actually. I'm obsessed with pizzas. Wherever I go, I need to order pizzas. Rather than trying their local dishes, I'm always up for pizzas.
How about language? Any language barriers that created problems in Pakistan?
No, I feel like a lot of people speak English here, so it's quite helpful.
Picked up any language?
Yeah.
Inshallah and mashallah
I
doesn't
know.
fall in that category.
But that's Arabic. That's
Exactly.
not Urdu. That's Arabic.
So what have
Inshallah,
you picked
mashallah.
up so far?
I picked up a couple of words. I can say like yek, do, teen, char, panch. Tike, acha.
Good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
some
been
basic things.
It's been a month. How
Yeah.
long do you plan to stay?
A couple more weeks. That's kind of the plan right now.
So what have you covered so far?
So I started in Hunza, and then from there to Gilgit,
Okay.
and then to, oh my God, Astore, I think it's called, and then Islamabad, and then Peshawar, which
Okay.
was very interesting. Because
How so?
Peshawar is like, it's like another
I can see your eyes
country. It's like
glittering.
another country there because it's so different, especially coming from Islamabad. It's a little bit more open. And you go to Peshawar and everything is much more conservative.
Do you think it's easier for a guy to travel in Pakistan?
I do think it's easier. Yeah.
It's
I think
easier?
Yeah. I'm not saying that a woman can't do it. I just believe it is slightly easier because this is kind of a man's world here. So it does give you a slight advantage to be a guy traveling here.
Do you think a guy would have greater problems as well?
I don't
And
know how
sometimes
so.
a woman would have an easier way out. If she's in trouble, there will be somebody who would be able to help, give her a helping hand or something
Sure,
like that.
possibly, yeah. That could.
What about
valid.
you?
I think, yes, I think it would differ from city to city as well. For example, I felt more comfortable in the northern areas, for instance, Hunza, rather than in my own city.
Why is that?
I think probably because of the men out here.
Okay. So how are they different there?
I think in the northern areas, they're more prone to tourism, and they're more used to women. I've heard it's pretty liberal there, because in Gilgit, I've seen music schools where run by women. So I feel they're more liberal there rather than in different cities.
JP, I want to ask you, every country has its own characteristic. How would you identify Pakistani characteristic?
Oh, I feel it's a mix here. Now, I haven't gone down as far as, like, I'm going to eventually get down to south in Karachi, so I can't comment on that. But, like, the north, Hunza, and that region, the north of Pakistan, it almost feels like another country there. It's like there should be a border or something, because that.
Why is that?
The people are very different. They're super liberal, super open-minded, like really.
That's what something Areesha
Yeah.
also
Really,
said.
really open-minded there. And I got to compare that with going to Peshawar, which is the complete opposite of that. So it's interesting. It's a nice contrast.
And how you're staying here 2 more weeks?
Yeah, approximately. Yeah.
Have you blogged about this? Do you blog?
I don't really blog. I have an account on Instagram. That's about as much as I do. I don't do YouTube or anything like this. For me, even having Instagram is too much, because I want to focus on what I'm doing, on traveling. I don't always want to have my camera or my phone out, doing stories. That's not who I am. For me, it's about my experience and what I'm doing.
That's a very interesting point, because people travel and the top thing on the list is check-ins.
That's so true, yes.
And I think there's sometimes a lot of it is lost, that you're almost always thinking that you have to go to a place first, check in, so you need to ensure that you have an internet, and sometimes it's exceedingly expensive.
Yeah.
And if you're unable to check in, you get upset. Well, what's the
Yes,
deal with
definitely.
you? How do you feel about it?
I'm a social media enthusiast, so it's so important for me, to get the internet right away and to go to all the places. And I actually wake up early in the morning, and I go and shoot wherever I need to, go to all the places. And then I come back and I go to sleep. And when I wake up in the afternoon, then I have to go there again, because I actually didn't get the feel of the entire environment. I actually didn't get the ambience. So yes, it's so true. Because of social media or photos and everything, we tend to lose out on so much around us.
I think I was in Spain with a friend of mine, and it was Andalusia, and I was taking pictures. There were a lot of tourists there. Everybody was taking pictures. And my friend said something very interesting, that, you know, you need to take a picture with your eyes as well. So make sure you see everything with your naked eye and take a picture here so that stays.
That's my point exactly.
True.
And I think people miss out so much
That's
on
exactly
that.
it.
So it's like you get food, you'll take a picture of a food, even to the point that it will get cold, and you haven't eaten.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen with you, but it happens
No.
with Areesha.
It does. But it's good to look back at the memories as well, because you forget about it. I
How many
do.
times have you looked back at your pictures? You do take pictures.
Yeah, I take a lot of pictures. I don't usually go back through them.
I think none of us do. Do you go back to pictures?
I do.
That's fantastic. I think it just comes down to social media likes, or just to get, or even just to make people unhappy, envious that you're traveling, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a culture of that for sure.
Yes.
There's
There is
culture of
definitely a
that.
culture of that.
Definitely, I'm sure.
You enjoy doing that?
No, I don't enjoy
No,
doing
I can see that on your face. You do certainly enjoy
I don't
doing
enjoy
that.
making everyone envious, but I don't. Yeah.
How do you travel? How do you plan places? I mean, it's like, I take the lonely, I'm one of those who pick up a Lonely Planet and see exactly what there is to do and take, okay, this is must do,
Right.
must do, this is must go, maybe, and so on and so forth.
I'm the one that takes the Lonely Planet and sets it on fire.
That's, how do you do that?
I can't use that thing. I rely on locals to help me. You know, I get somewhere and I don't really know what there is to see here, but I can sit down in a cafe and talk to someone and say, hey, what do you? They're going to know. Someone that lives there is going to know a whole lot more than a stupid book. So I ask them. Like, where
And
should I
there's
go?
somebody
Taxi
who's going to
drivers.
take you for a ride as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? Why not
So-
immerse yourself instead of just picking up a book and like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do this. No, talk to people.
How do you do this?
I actually look up at all the blogs of the particular city because, see, I don't have a lot of time when I'm traveling. I have like 3 days in one city because I have to come back. So
That's an important point. You see, immersing takes time.
Sure.
For example, you came to Hunza. What did you do? There was nothing. There was no to-do list. And what did you do? Went to a cafe?
Well, because I don't have, I guess, a time limit, that stress is relieved from me. Like, I can just chill for a few days and not do anything. And just hang
You've done
out.
that?
Oh, sure. Happens all the time. Absolutely.
say-
And I
so-
enjoy that. I
so
enjoy
the-
days of nothing.
So your hotel is under the sky.
Yeah, many times.
Because most of the people who travel and they've booked a hotel, they're on a time limit.
That's
Yeah.
And there
true.
is
I do have that unique advantage. That's true.
So what's the most rugged thing you've done so far?
I slept.
Definitely have slept under the sky. That's
Yeah, under
Yeah.
the sky on top of a volcano in Ethiopia. That
And you're
was-
still sitting here.
Yeah.
We'll learn more because he slept under a sky and on top of a volcano.
Wow.
So much more after the break. Welcome back. JP, how do you plan countries? I mean, 184 just doesn't happen without a plan. So it's okay, you say that
Yeah.
you go to places and then you plan, but there must be a blueprint somewhere.
Generally speaking, I go to countries that are neighboring countries for the most part. So, like, you know, when I'm traveling
That
Africa,
makes the most sense.
Yeah, so when I'm traveling Africa, I do all of West Africa at one time. You know, because you got all the neighboring countries, and I can just get the visa for the next country at the country that I'm in. So if I need to go to Liberia and I'm in Sierra Leone, then I will get the visa for Liberia when I'm in the capital, Sierra Leone. And then
How
I'll
did it
travel
all
to that.
start when you were doing, when 2012 you wanted to get started?
Yeah.
How did you plan it then, and how has the plan changed over a period of time?
Well, in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I left. I mean, I quit my job. I bought
I know
a
exactly
backpack.
what you told your boss, but
Yeah,
without repeating
okay.
that,
Sorry.
what happened?
And
And-
I bought
And just piece of advice: you don't need to quit your job to travel.
I'm staying out of that. All right. So I bought a backpack. Too big, by the way, because I didn't know what I was doing. So I bought like a 100-liter backpack. It was massive. You know, I just shoved everything in there.
Who does that?
People that don't know what they're doing. You know.
That's not called a backpack. That's actually called a back breaker.
Yeah, it was breaking my back, which is why I shed it very quickly.
Yeah.
And now my bag now is like 35 5 liters or something. It's nothing. It's like this big. There's nothing in there.
Now you're more sensible.
Yeah.
So how did the plan start? How did it change?
I think it's just adapted as I've gone. My first trip was to the Philippines. That's where I pretty much started traveling.
Well, that's for various other reasons as well.
Yeah. Okay. We don't need to go. We don't need to go there.
How many clothes do you travel with? I
have like.
I still can't go down. I mean, I wish I could travel with 2 pairs of jeans and a T-shirt because that's really the way to go. But
I don't have much. I have like 5 T-shirts, 2 pairs of pants, these shoes.
What about you? Travel light, travel.
No, with a lot of clothes.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Even though I have like a weight limit, but then I just manage somehow. I stuff it in my backpack as well, and
there was
handbag.
Do you know there was a lady who traveled with just to skip the weight allowance?
Yeah.
She put 9 kgs on. Or she wore 9 kgs of clothes, and she traveled with that.
Oh my God!
You can't imagine yourself doing that.
I go carry on only. I never check my bag then.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, waiting for bags, luggage
I
is
never
the
have to,
worst nightmare.
And my bags don't get lost. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Tell me, any interesting stories about traveling across Pakistan?
Interesting stories about traveling here. I mean, we talked about earlier. I mean, I hitchhiked pretty much all the way from the China border.
So let me
to
help
here.
you out. Any unique stories? Anything that's really unique to Pakistan?
Oh, unique. The food is pretty unique here. Yeah. I
Like
do
it?
like it. I don't know the names of all the foods that I've eaten, but I have liked pretty much every dish that I've had. A little bit on the spicy side,
Of course.
but I do like it nonetheless.
Which is
So-
your favorite country across the world?
Iran.
Why? That's an American.
Yeah, I know. I'm American.
I'm not going to say anything more than that.
I'm
Iran.
American, and I'm an American, and I do love Iran. Because it was so difficult for me to get in there, it took forever to get the visa, years. It took years, because I didn't want to do a tour. Americans can only go on a tour, and I didn't want to do a tour. So I wanted to do it on my own. That took forever. And then when I finally got that
why
done.
pick these countries? Iran, Pakistan? I mean,
Because for me, going to, like Iran, like Pakistan, countries like this to me, they're interesting because I think the media misrepresents them. And there's a certain intrigue, there's a certain mystery about these countries that I want to see for myself. Because I don't always believe what's on the media. I think they tend to exaggerate things. There's a certain amount of truth, but then they blow it out of proportion. So I want to see for myself.
So how was it different before you traveled? And having gone to these places, and you're right now in Pakistan, do you see there's a vast contrast? Do you agree with the media? Or do you think
Pakistan,
that's
for example, doesn't have a great reputation. It's just like Iran. Pakistan's the same. Like, doesn't have a good reputation around the world. But I knew that coming in here, so I have a very open mind. I'm like, okay, I want to see for myself. And there are problems here. It's not as what the media says, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's perfect because it's not. There's issues here. There's issues in every country.
There are
around the
issues
world.
anywhere you go.
And that's fair, and there is. But it's not as bad as the media makes it to be, no. I mean, I've been here for a month. I've not had any problems here, so.
And for all practical purposes, if you were watching any media across the board, it would tell you not even come here or near here.
Yeah, well, they have travel advisories. Don't travel to Pakistan. Do not travel to Iran. I don't care. I'm going. I'm going to go anyway.
Another thing I want to ask you is that, and I'm going to come to you, Areesha, I haven't forgotten you, but it's a very important point. You've traveled pretty much across the Muslim world, and there are places where the major interest for going is architecture, and that's Muslim architecture, and it comes down to going to mosques. Ever had a problem?
I have never really had an issue going to mosques. I love going to mosques. For me, even though I'm not Muslim myself, I can appreciate going to a mosque and seeing the beauty of the mosque. No, I've not been in any troubles, never had any issues. Once in Jerusalem, they wouldn't let me into the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Not really a big deal. But not really had any major problems.
Any emotional, any powerful spiritual experiences anywhere?
Yeah, I went to Mecca in Saudi Arabia, and that was mind-blowing for me. Again, not Muslim, and I went to a place that Muslims are not supposed to go. If you're not a Muslim, you're not supposed to go, right? But for me, it wasn't about disrespecting the culture or the religion. It was just about having an experience and being able to see something that not many people get to see or experience. And for me, it was moving. Just the energy, the power that was, it was during the Hajj. So there's like millions of people there. And there's a certain power in the air. There's an energy that there's no doubt you can feel this. And for me, that was amazing. Probably one of my greatest moments on my whole trip was going to Mecca.
That's something to worth cherishing. You've traveled abroad, and definitely, again, just like going to mosques, I mean, some of the great architectures, churches, and sanctuaries, so on and so forth. Ever had a problem? Went there, enjoyed it?
I've always enjoyed it because I have been an art and architectural student, so I always make sure that I'll go to all the churches and even the Orthodox churches. They always tell you to cover yourself up, but no one has ever stopped me from entering a particular place yet.
Any emotional, any good experiences, profound experiences?
I think in religious places, wherever you go, there are some. I mean, because there are so many people worshipping around you. So I think it really gets to you.
You just have to be cognizant of the fact that it's a place of worship, and you should be
respectful.
And
right.
you just feel it over there. There's some spiritual thing happening around you.
And it's sometimes hard to put in words, but
definitely,
I do agree where you both are coming from. Plenty of myself, but I'm not the guest on the show. But I want to ask you more about what have you traveled? What have you learned the most in your travels?
That people are generally good. Because I've been in situations where, I've hit a dead end somewhere, and I'm in a country where maybe I don't speak the language that well, and I need to take the next bus going to wherever, and I feel like I'm stuck, and I don't know where to go. I can't communicate, and somehow, some way, somebody always comes around that can speak English. It's like, how can I help you? And this has happened multiple times.
That's fantastic.
And that's what I've taken from traveling around the world, that people are there and they're good people. The world's full of good people.
Wherever you go, you're going to meet good and bad people. And it's sometimes your luck. And one should not think that the entire society is bad because you've met one bad person. Areesha, any interesting experiences?
Yes, actually. I was in Prague once, and I was doing my photo shoot. I had my tripod set up, and there was
you're one of those.
I'm one of those. Yeah. And there was this group of Chinese tourists, and as you know, they're like all over the world. There's so many. They always travel in groups. So there was this huge group, and I was waiting for them to, just get done with their photos. And some of them started coming to me, and they started taking photos with me.
Why?
Would come and they would just put their hand around me, and they're like, "Oh, please take our picture." And it started happening. And it took like a good 15, 20 minutes till the entire group got done, and
taking pictures with you,
me.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, with me. They thought I was some celebrity or something. I don't know what, because we couldn't even communicate properly, and they were just really happy to see me.
And they just wanted to have pictures with you. There were other people there as well.
There were other people there as well, and there was the view there as well. Amazing view.
Wow.
Prague Castle.
Interesting. So I'm traveling with group. Good point there. You travel alone.
I do.
Actually, you don't like traveling with people.
No, I mean, I have traveled with people, but I prefer to travel alone.
Why is that?
Because I can do what I want whenever I want. I don't have to discuss it with anyone.
It makes a gulf of...
what I'm doing today.
It's actually, there are people who either travel alone or travel with a companion. I'm one of those lucky ones who've actually had good experience with traveling alone and with friends. What about you?
I think there are both pros and cons to this. I traveled alone once, and all I did was look at people who were traveling as a family, or look at couples who were sitting together and having dinner. I was just sitting alone, and literally I was.
Are you sure you were just looking at other people?
I literally was, and I couldn't stop missing my family or my friends. And so I really like traveling with a companion or with friends. But yes, again, there are cons as well, because everyone is different. They don't want to visit the same places you want to visit. They don't want to go at the same pace you want to go to.
For me, sorry to interrupt, for me, traveling alone also forces you out of your comfort zone.
It does.
That's
Yeah,
true.
so
Hey,
it-
this
it
happens
makes
with
you
me all the
go out
time.
and-
When you're traveling alone, you're in a cafe in Egypt, you're in a cafe in Syria, you end up having a conversation with somebody
Yeah.
or the other.
But when you're with someone else, then that opportunity doesn't really come up.
Exactly.
So when
Any
you're
interesting
alone,
interactions in Pakistan?
in Pakistan, traveling around some of the villages up north and meeting some
What
of
were they like?
Well, the people are just like older people that I met, and really just so sweet, and so you can see in their demeanor how humble they are. And that to me, you can just see it when they go like this, and you makes your heart melt. You're like, oh my God, you can just see how kind they are, and
That's
and moments like that mean the world to me.
Any experiences like that for you?
It was in Turkey once, and actually the guy.
That's actually another beautiful place to go.
It is. And since there's always this cultural and religious, connection over there, so it means a lot. There was this really old guy over there, and he was actually a shopkeeper. And I don't know, he reminded me of my dad, and somehow it was really sweet to be in. He gave me free things from his shop as well. So yeah, that was a really nice move.
JP, any weird cultural traits in Pakistan?
Well, I don't know if it's considered a weird cultural trait, but the driving here is abysmal. Yeah,
Driving
it's
is
really,
if you-
really bad.
Come on.
Like I haven't decided which.
Is it worse than Egypt?
Egypt is bad. Iran is bad. Pakistan is bad. I don't know which of the three is the worst. They're all bad. Like, did you just give away licenses here? I mean, what? How does it work here? Do you even have a license?
I do, but let's not go there.
Okay.
Do you drive?
No, I don't. Thank
Oh,
God.
thank God. Oh.
Good.
You're
Stay
one of
safe.
those who
Stay
sits in the
safe.
back or the
Yes,
passenger seat.
yes, I can't drive. I mean,
Ah, bless you.
look at the traffic here.
Have you driven in Pakistan?
I don't dare to. No.
So what's the scariest thing you have done? Because I have a good list. Whitewater rafting, skydiving. So I've done quite a few.
Okay, I haven't gone
So-
skydiving, so you
You
got me.
should.
You got me beat there. Actually,
You
got me
should.
beat. I do want to
But
do
then
it.
I've also driven in Pakistan. Yes.
That's probably the scariest thing in the world. So, congrats.
There's no point asking you
No.
because you don't drive.
No.
And no whitewater rafting, no
No, not at all.
skydiving,
No,
no
no, no.
bungee jumping. What's on the list for the scary things? For the adventurous ones?
Adventurous. Yeah. Well, I told you about the volcano thing. That was pretty wild to
You
stand up
also
at the edge of a volcano. I mean, come on.
That's nice.
Yeah. That was just crazy cool.
Wow. Well, any other crazy things?
Um.
What about that? You've hung around with the cheetahs and tigers.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. We
Come
did
on.
talk about. I'm sorry.
When you
I forgot.
have done so much, you actually forget what all you've done.
I did
you
hang
know?
out with cheetahs. Yeah,
How was that?
Yeah, it was in Zambia, and it was at in a cheetah sanctuary. And there was like 4 or 5 cheetahs just roaming around, and they just come
They
up to
weren't
you.
drugged, were they?
No. They're used to human interaction.
See,
so
that's,
they just
that's
come
what
up to you.
that's what I like the most. I mean, we humans have problems with human interactions because we're so busy with smartphones. It's cheetahs who've become accustomed to it.
There
How
you go.
does that happen?
I don't know. I hadn't want to lick my face. That was cool.
That's
I have a
nice.
photo of it on my Instagram somewhere. But yeah, the cheetah just came up and like licked my face. It's like sandpaper going all the way up.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've got to put that up, Mr.
Yeah.
Producer. Any fun ones there for you? Definitely not the cheetah licking. Don't quit your job and don't have cheetahs lick your face and don't sleep on the volcanoes. We just had this guy here in town, so we're just interviewing him. But just don't follow suit, okay?
I would like to go back to the cultural traits actually, because I feel in Pakistan there's, since I've lived here all my life, there's this thing that you can't, girls have to ask for permission, to if they're going solo somewhere, they have to ask permission.
But now we have girl bikers who've traveled
We
across
do.
Pakistan.
We do, but
we've
then
got so many travel loggers
it's a
who've
minimal
done fantastic.
chunk. It's a minimal chunk actually. It's a minimal chunk of girls who are doing that. They're
But aren't
this-
they transcending the idea that we have to do it? And I think there is a good fan following there.
There
and
are, but then
people are-
still the mindset of most of the people here is still the same, that a girl has to ask for permission, or if she wouldn't be allowed to, go out as a guy would be, as opposed to.
Is that changing?
It is changing, actually. It is changing. But
I see a lot of girls traveling with
Yeah.
tour guides and so on and so forth. College girls actually traveling across. And they're now more travel guides as well. And I think this is something I should actually ask you. How are the roads? How is going from one place to another? And in comparison to a developing country.
Yeah, the roads up north were pretty bad.
Really?
They were really, really bad. Yeah.
So a word of advice to our politicians, roads are really bad. Guys, fix it.
Yeah, very bumpy. So not the most
You know,
comfortable.
life's bumpy, so that's not an easy ride. That's not a very smooth ride, JP. Come on.
I am used to it. I mean, hey, I have traveled in some crazy roads in Africa, so I'm used to it. But
with
you're
100
asking.
plus countries, you've definitely had your share of bumps.
I have quite a few.
So, come on, at any point in time, are you writing a dummy's guide on how to travel?
I'm not really writing a dummy's guide to travel, but you know, I would say the number one thing that you need to do is figure out what do you want to do? Like, where do you want to go? How long do you want to travel for? You know, what's important to you? What do you want to see? Do you want to spend a couple of months out, or you just want to do a 2-week trip? If you want to do something like me and spend years, or let's just say a year out, then you know that you're going to have to save up some money. It's going to take at least $10,000 to travel for a year.
Dummy's guide on planning, that becomes a big problem for people. I mean, of course, Lonely Planet? But a dummy's guide.
Burn it. Set it on fire. That's how you start traveling.
But then how to start? A good starting point. Because you do realize that traveling has become exceedingly expensive now.
It doesn't have to be expensive. It depends on what level of comfort you're willing to. You know, you don't have to stay at 5-star resorts. I don't. You know, the most.
No, you sleep on volcanoes, but
I do. And that's free.
I would
and that's
suggest
free.
our viewers to actually sleep on volcanoes because you may not find a volcano to sleep on. So, a word of advice there.
So if you're willing to spend a night in a hostel, for example, then you're paying maybe $15 or less versus paying $100, $200 a night in a normal hotel. So it just matters on
Any piece of advice on traveling in Pakistan? How would you, so for myself, I haven't traveled across Pakistan. I really want to do it. What would you recommend?
Well, I would recommend what I did. Start from the north and go all the way down south. Try not to maybe do it during the summertime.
That's
it's starting to get pretty hot.
It
now.
does?
Yeah. So, you know, I take into consideration the weather because that will maybe take away from your experience. If you're
What's
just
your
outside.
must-sees?
Must-sees here. You must go. Hunza is, put that in the Lonely Planet. Hunza. I honestly,
That's
I think
exactly, because I'm sorry, but that's where exactly the Lonely Planet starts from, so which he sets on fire. So don't listen to him.
Hunza must.
Must see.
Must. There's no way around it. You have to go to Hunza.
I'm actually going to write an application for holiday right after the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, good.
You've been to some places which are not very open to the public. What are your must-sees?
I would say Bahawalpur.
Why?
I feel there hasn't been much exposure over there. I've just seen it on media once or twice, actually. But I feel when I went over there, I realized that there are so many places there that I haven't seen or heard about it before. And yes, they're not open to public, but there's still some there which are open to public. So I'd say it's a must-see. Because usually, you know, whenever a tourist is coming to Pakistan, or even us, we'd like to hit the northern areas first. So I guess Bahawalpur.
What was your favorite site in Bahawalpur?
It was the Darbar Mahal.
Really?
Yes, it's a palace, of course, but it is absolutely beautiful, and it's honestly, in comparison with all the European palaces, we all see. So I was extremely proud of it as well. And then there is Noor Mahal as well, and they have this exceptional light show over there, and it was as good as a light show you'll see anywhere across the world.
That's fantastic. Well, I wish both my guests good luck in traveling. Definitely, JP, it was a pleasure having you in Pakistan.
Thank you.
I know you're here for 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy the country to the fullest.
Absolutely.
And I hope you come back again now.
I have a 2-year visa, so Pakistan
Good luck,
Zindabad.
man. Thank you. Guys, I enjoyed having them on the show. Hope you enjoyed listening to them. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.